How did I get this great career? It all started the day I enrolled in this school, Technical Career Institutes. I wanted really good skills. That gave me skills of color TV servicing, computers and automation, air conditioning and refrigeration. So if top-notch skills are what you're after, come see us. These are just a few of our many fine TCI people. And with this new free TCI career booklet, we'll give you the full details on how to become one of them. Now, I can't call you. You have to stop smoking marijuana at your mom's house. Pick up the phone and call us. So call 246-5100 now. It was a really bad year. 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 Sing. Thank you so much.
I was born in Brooklyn in 1968. It was a product of the people that lived in the area. So my ancestry in the U.S. is part Irish, part Italian with a little German and Scottish. And then from there, I just became a Beatle fanatic and studied acting. And then at 18, picked up the guitar, which was considered a late bloomer. And now I'm here in England playing music.
Everybody's crazy. It's gonna find a way. There's gonna be an answer. You're gonna live to see another day.
For 26 years, I've been touring that circuit. I've been based in New York City. Most of the time I was based in, and then sometime I was based in the 90s, I was based in Boulder, Colorado, and then after that, San Francisco. Now my birth name is John Pancaldo. I got Jack Grace, which I started right around 1998, from my grandparents on the Italian side of my family, Jack and Grace Pancaldo. That's how I got Jack Grace. So it's sort of a family name. And I started the Jack Grace Band. And for a while, the Jack Grace Band was country, like old classic country, in that Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson kind of zone. And I drank the part, I lived the part, and it was sincere. And I really loved being in that world for a while. But then sometime around, I don't know, probably about 10 years later, around 2008, I just found myself writing more and more different stuff. And now we just recorded an album, this last album I don't think has a single country number on it really. There might be something rootsy Americana. So there's some Latin stuff mixed in. I just like to write in all different styles. You know, there's jazzy tunes, so my sound is hard to categorize, but I've tried to pigeonhole myself. So it's my blessing and curse. People say, wow, you play so many different songs, so many different types of things. Then other people say, I don't know how to describe this music. And so I come up with different terms most years. Lately it's, experimental country art rock. How's that? And that's my answer. I'm sticking to it.
I know the right song. This is a perfect song for this moment. Here we go. Ready? You'll never know how much I really love you. You'll never know how much I really care. I'm in the wilderness, I really need to use my strength. Life is a struggle, a marathon of ultimate length. My brain's got warning, pirates on the blink. Been so long since I really bothered to think. Turn of the century, I left my thoughts alone. No one seems to bother me at all. Evolution's tide almost starting to print. Been so long since I really bothered to think. Middle school, I learned to criticize. The world was broken down, compromise. Evolution's tide almost starting to shrink. Been so long since I really bothered to think. New York City, hello, I love you so. Hard to hide, but easy to let it go. Arms like tarantulas, it keeps the torture around. Give it a try, or revel in a full breakdown. Led the dream to water, but I just can't make it dry. Been so long since I really bothered to think. My brain's gone rusty, wiring's on the brink. Been so long since I really bothered to think. Thank you, folks.
My style has a bit of a boomerang effect to, it gravitates towards weirdness on a certain level, in that my original band I started in 1992, my first band was called Steak. Steak got kind of big on the west, sort of on the west of the US, from Colorado, San Francisco area. And we were sort of compared to Frank Zappa a lot. At the time, I wasn't really familiar with Frank Zappa's music. So I went and listened to it, and I said, I love this stuff. So, but I was compared to it before I really knew about it. Now, we're not, the people I played with, we're not quite in that same virtuoso zone, more come from a certain rock thing, but I did study jazz and different things. But so here's what happened. Steak never played a cover song ever in the history of the band, I believe. And we just had weird, quirky songs. And eventually it ran its course. We moved the band from Boulder, Colorado to San Francisco and then to New York, where most of us were from. Now, when in New York, I got sick of always the record labels saying, we love you, but we just don't know how to label you. And at the time, I just wanted to, come up with something that I was feeling a lot of country stuff at the time. And it started by when on our long tours across the country, I was listening to my Walkman back then, and listening to the Johnny Cash American Recordings album that Rick Rubin had put out. And that just really blew me away. And the first thing I learned was that I'm a baritone. I sing low. I used to all my heroes back then were the Beatles, Neil Young, Robert Plant. So I wanted to sing out of my range, was the beginning of the evolution of my singing. And I discovered that I was a baritone, and I just started writing a lot of country songs.
Won't you lay your spike down, lay it deep into the ground? Won't you lay your spike down, lay it deep into the ground? Deep in the ground. So we'll move around. Do you remember feeling sorrow? Do you remember feeling pain? Do you remember feeling sorrow? Do you remember feeling pain? Feeling so happy. Try to always stay that way. Michael was a good man, lots of worries on his mind. Michael was a good man, lots of worries on his mind. Now he ain't around. And we miss him all the time. into the ground. Won't you lay your spike down? Lay it deep into the ground. Oh, deep in the ground. So I'll move around. I'll break it down. Deep in the ground. So I'll move around. Thank you so much.
You know, I never set out to be a lead guitar player, you know? In the first band, Steak, I've really only had two bands. There's been Steak and now the Jack Grace Band. And in Steak, I became the lead guitar player by default. And I had to take a solo. The band kind of got popular fast. So within a couple months, I'd only been playing guitar 4 years, and I was playing in front of 300 people, taking leads, coming home telling the band, like, I'm not good enough. Can we get someone? No, you're fine, you're doing fine. And so it's sort of over time, I now recently consider myself a lead guitar player. And part of it's necessity. The same way, you know, when you go back to after the big band era in jazz, say when trios became really popular and hip, I don't think people did that on purpose. I think it had to do with that rock and roll took all the money and people needed to play in smaller units to make ends meet or make that money. And I think the same thing happened in rock to some degree. Like, I never knew I would end up always having a trio. But due to I make a living off this, trio is what, you know, you can afford. Okay, you get one hotel room, maybe I'll sleep on a bed on the floor, and the band gets the two beds. You know, I say, hey, we can get more hotel rooms, but, you know, this is the budget. So, I have become a player of a trio of, you know, guitar, bass, drums, and it's now my preferred way. It feels like a sports car. You know, whereas if I got a 7-piece band, because sometimes my band is a 7-piece, and I love that. It's guitar, bass, drums, trumpet, trombone, piano, and lap steel. That's the full band when I do it. But that feels like driving a Cadillac. And when you get on the trio, it feels like a little sports car. You can take the turns a little faster. And I like that. And I like the space. So I really do like trio. I do sometimes miss having that energy of two guitars. There's just something about it, you know, when they mix together. But I do. I'm happy that what started as a frugal decision turned into a source of joy, and I love the trio.
This song's called "You'd Be Disappointed If I Didn't Disappoint You." Not flowing well like a vintage wine, more like a shattered bottle of gin. Have a thirst that I need to wait, or I might break up all the shards within. Perpetrating love's intent, the angel canceled its descent. I know it well when I done something wrong, but I don't contemplate the borders of sin. I never try to get in. You'd be disappointed if I didn't disappoint you. You'd be disappointed if I didn't disappoint you. In this town I'm such a disgrace. They bought a ticket for a one-way bus. They said they'd miss me, it was very polite, but rather cold and disingenuous. What a way to spend the night, half in flames and part done right. Know it well when I've done something wrong, but I don't contemplate the borders of sin. I never try to get it. Misunderstood with a lack of restraint, a better way to keep the magic alive. You can wrangle or tangle, but chosen words are more instinctual jive. It's getting really hard to tell who's in love and what's not well. Getting naked in the forest these days, is that considered a crime? I'm doing fine without time. You'd be disappointed if I didn't disappoint you. You'd be disappointed if I didn't disappoint you. Perpetrating love's intent, the angel canceled its descent. I know it well when I've done something wrong, but I don't think about the borders of sin. I never try to get in. I never try to get in. That's the first brand new premiere of that song. It's a new one. Hope you weren't disappointed. All right. Well, we expect that.